Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the Sexy Brutale. So, we are now looking at the candles now that we have this new ability. And in this case, it seems like the ability is just going to trigger and we're going to be able to just see ghosts when we're in this area. Let's see. So now our hearing is better, and so we can hear entire conversations, but that's not what we're trying to do over here. Trying to activate this, but how do you activate it? Let's see. We just got this ability. Let's see. Light Willow's voodoo candles to reveal ghosts fully, allowing you to see them, hear them, and talk to them. The ghosts of the mansion will now appear as eerie blue clouds. So how do you light them? Like, we don't have an ability or an item like that. So there's a whole conversation here that, you know what, I just think I want to go ahead and let's just reset all of this and start over. I don't really think I even need the hungry charm, but I'll grab it anyways. So clearly, to get the full story here, we need to pay attention and move incredibly fast. So that there's that ghost, and we see him walking through here. If you're going to go rummaging around the ladies' brawl, you expect to find interesting things that a colossal pervert like myself might find worthwhile, not discussing lumps of skull on string. Poor show. So it was the ghost that left the hungry charm in the first place. And so we don't even see, they don't see the ghosts, or at least, Tequila, please stay out of the painting room. Willow, sweetheart, I have to dash. He'll start without me. You don't have the comb that I can borrow, do you? Hey, keep your filthy hands to yourself. What? Fine, stupid witch, spoiling my fun. No, I didn't mean. It's just not like you to have even true sight, just those vile things. Man, this is moving around way too fast. I can hear you at night now. It's creepy, is what it is. It's creepy. Like, just trying to read all of that at the same time is a pain. Well, at least she'll be safe. And so we needed to have listened with that other mode too. So in part, this ghost is who we're chasing after now. As far whispering to next to my room. Well, best get to the practice room. Let's just hide in here, I guess. So obviously there's a lot of story in this that you can kind of miss if you're not careful. And it seems like your excellent hearing should always be turned on instead of having to hold down the right trigger. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of possibility here as far as missing storyline. When I think about this and compare it, so we can now see that there are just 3 ghosts straight up blocking the way, so that's why we couldn't go in that direction. Let's talk to them. Excuse me, are you here to see Miss Bell perform too? Please don't let us stop you. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Interesting. So Takia Bell the Southern Siren, is now the character that we're trying to highlight and save. So, compared to Zero Time Dilemma, which was straight up a game that was at one point just giving you cutscenes and cutscenes only, and stopped having any interaction at all. This is another one of these, so we're going to use those for something at some point in the future. Like, this game's more integrating its storyline into this dialogue. And there's another record player, so we very possibly need to put the record on the record player to distract her, which means we may need to use the chute for something, or maybe we'll use the chute for something else. Oops. So, what? How did you get this? This is a private song. It never was. Miss Bell, please. We've already started. Fine, I will sing. And so I assume she's gonna do a whole singing sequence here, and then she's either gonna get shot or it's gonna shatter. And see, she gets killed a little bit later than the previous character, so I wonder if it isn't the case that each person we save is about an hour later than the previous person. This candle's not lit, so we can't really see the ghosts. That doesn't kill her. Marvelous, marvelous. Help someone. Let's hop in here. And see, so this is supposed to be this like cutscene, and it definitely feels like it should be a cutscene. That should just take control away from you and show Miss Bell, deep down you were a jealous, poisonous siren, but you had a glorious, glittering death. Now I shall lay you to rest with all the pomp and ceremony. And so he throws her body downward. You're welcome, Miss Bell. All the greats die young, you know. I wonder though, will they remember you as Tequila Bell, or Tequila Bell, noisy tart eaten by a spider? History can be so fickle. Job done. So we only have a few more hours to wander around, and we may just be looking for a we really may just be trying to look for a, let's see, a candle, storage closet key, although we may also be looking simply for a clock. See if this works. Alright, so we found the clock. Where are we on the map? It is so strange that we don't rewind back. To, it's so strange that the back button doesn't actually have a clock on it. Or that the back button doesn't take it to the map is what I mean to say. I'm just stammering here. And I'm losing attention span as far as what I've said and what I didn't say. I suppose I should say, yes, I am enjoying this game more as an interactive experience compared to Zero Time Dilemma, but honestly, if it was fully voice acted, it would be so much better, as is true for most cases in most games. Alright, so can we rush? Just don't do anything else and hope that we can rewind the clock in time. And set that as our new checkpoint. So that's all we had time for. But that definitely should be the experience, though, is that you should have a fairly consistent first experience in an area in which you do see you do see the murder, you do find the clock wind key, and then you set the clock. And that's really all you should be interacting with and dealing with. So we now have a purple vinyl record, which it just seems like we're going to have multiple records at some point. But yeah. If this was fully voice acted, I'd appreciate that more. If it zoomed in for more of the cutscenes. So. Is this guy singing? Or is there a point where he moves out? Or is he just gonna play the piano this whole time? All of these puzzles are so weird in that you would solve them easily if you just walked in the room and talked to the people. Alright. So let's put the record here and see what that does. The record says on the turntable and begins to play. Where else do we even go? Like, see if I could record, like, on the record player, what was being played. I could then maybe break that glass. But I'm fairly certain that this may just be a case where the broken glass ability will be a mask ability. Right. And meanwhile, I guess if we zoom in a little bit, I guess I can't even zoom in any more than this, so the map's not even that useful. We're seeing other characters wander around. So, like Miss Tequila, I think, for instances. She's coming through here. Where's Red? I need him on piano. Alright. So she goes in there. And then we'll immediately look back here. And then she goes in here. We'll just go in here. Me. La la la. We don't really need to listen anymore. Ahem. So yeah, very often I think this is exactly how this boils down to, is that we just end up following people wandering around, and it becomes this almost observation game, stalking game. Who are you? Where's Red? Mr. Roderick sends his apologies, but he's unable to join us. I shall fill in as your pianist today. So I am quite competent, I assure you. Well, I used to sing along to my drunk uncle banging paint cans, so I'm sure we can make this work. It's very weird also that so much of this dialogue does not have a press A to continue when you're watching it. Obviously, this dialogue needs to happen if you're not observing it, so then there should just be a toggle. How did you get this? This is a private song. Miss Bell, please. Or have you started? Fine, I will sing.
Once I was in your arms, crushing grip of steel.
But yeah, there is also a point here where, well, this may be a little bit of a break around everything. It's not quite enough of a break. It feels like that you could have a secondary gameplay mechanic, or just a observation mode where you observe things that feels way different than the action mode in which you try to solve the puzzles, or that there might just benefit from having some falling action hallways where you walk through a hallway and just think about what you just saw. Have the main character do some internal dialogue or monologue and just think about what just happened and recapping things, because it does oddly then boil down into this weird ever increasing action. And I could have been in the room. Storage closet key. So like, unless I'm supposed to, unless I was supposed to lock him in the storage closet, I don't know what the storage closet key is about. Because if we come back and look, as far as storage closets, unless it's this doorway over here, I don't really see a place that could have a storage closet anywhere close to this place. And he's throwing the body down into the spider's den, so that's where we found that body. So the question here is, are we supposed to be engaging with the ghosts again? Or are we supposed to be like doing something else? The door is locked. Okay. but there's nothing to lock in the storage closet. We need some ability to see these ghosts and see their interaction around that. And how do we do that? Candles curiously cold. And we're just running out of time completely. You see, these guys, I think, are blocking me straight into this area, so that the fact that I've set the checkpoint has put me in a bad position, because now I am trapped. So instead of just waiting to reset, let's just go ahead and reset. And obviously they're trying to trap you in certain areas so you don't think that you possibly actually do need to wander all over the area, but all over the casino. But again, that is something that feels like a situation where you could change that later, and we may actually have to wander around the entire... Check inventory for details. Let's go check the inventory. Tequila at noon. Okay. What happens if we actually get caught? I think he probably just chases you out of the room. Staff uniforms, instruments, paraphernalia. There was a card hidden in the corner there I missed. That calls the servants from downstairs. Maybe the bell plays some role there. Like you ring the bell, and then the servants actually do arrive. Probably should see if the sound effect is... Yep. Alright. So a ghost just opened that door. So we now know how this goes. And so I'm hoping that this is locked. And that locks him in that area. So it was just the bell that was extra. What the hell? I'm bloody locked in. And so she takes off her mask, and we can have another cutscene, and we can get another ability. And I wonder if it is going to be a direct ability around lighting candles, because that would make some sense. Lafcadio, I wasn't expecting you. Although if it's an ability around lighting candles, that doesn't make as much sense as an ability to shatter glass with a high note. I wasn't expecting you. I have to practice for the big finale, but Red isn't here to play for me. Would you mind? You play so beautifully. I do seem like I am also just this character that everybody knows. Look how that glitched as it went up and down. Yeah, everybody seems to know this guy and recognize him with his mask on and like him. I had a dream I wrote a horrible song, left Cardio. It was a jealous, mean piece. I didn't mean it. I've always loved Lucas, but I wish the two of them every happiness. I don't know if I even know who Lucas is. He may be the bad guy, but I may be the bad guy. Who knows? With time travel, you never know. Oh, this song. He had me write this for her so long ago. So I'm playing a different song and just picking Lefkadio is just choosing what he's going to play. It's perfect. From the top then. I guess technically this would be some falling action. Nice reward for getting about halfway through the game, it feels like. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually a third of the way through the game. The words in the song don't play well. Almost as if this was being translated from a different language to English, but I don't believe that's the case. Like, I would have to double check to see if this game has any other languages other than English. I'd imagine it's just bad writing. Yeah. And arguably, video game creators thinking they can write a song is a little too ambitious and a little too silly. Writing good songs in general is incredibly hard. That was beautiful, Lefkadio. I don't think it really was. That very well could have been a good point to have them just sing a song that was very recognizable, or a licensed song even. Like something that talked about time or sung about love, some very recognizable song. That was beautiful, Lefkadio. She will love hearing it. Wonder if the she's talking about there. Man, she really is glitching going up and down stairs. I wonder if the he's talking about is the bloody lady that we keep seeing. This might be the narrative that the bloody lady is the person that's the bad guy's in love with, and he's trying to bring her back or affect time to prevent her from dying or something, and she's fighting against it because she knows it's wrong and it's not a good thing to do, killing other people and trapping them potentially in a repeated timeline over and over again. Getting killed to save another person is not morally correct. Take your mask, then come to the window. We are now just getting very basic instructions, and this is just a cutscene. I'm not controlling it. I question, though, if there's that many more twists we can find or will find. I can understand there being ghosts, but after you introduce ghosts, you can't introduce super ghosts or different kinds of ghosts. You could introduce trapdoors, certainly, and secret tunnels, but you're going to have to stretch to find more and more gimmicks if you're going to try and introduce gimmicks, and they probably are going to be fairly specialized gimmicks like shattering glasses. The singer Tequila Bell has one of the most powerful, beautiful voices ever heard. Tequila's mask allows you to shatter delicate glass with her voice, smash mosaic glass objects by using the power when the prompt appears. And so very much all of this is just when a prompt appears, you can use it, and otherwise you can't. This window has a secret boon. Tequila's voice, shall we say, it resonates in this mansion. Use the power she gave you. And it doesn't even make a sound effect. And obviously there's something back there. This room used to be the orchestra pit for the rooms below in the theater. Can you imagine what this place would have been in the height of its glory? The show, the music, the life. Tequila loved to stand here up high, but the Marquis decided it was too dangerous. His personal enjoyment was sacrificed for the greater good. Sometimes we have to hurt people to help them move on. So it seems weird that there would be an orchestra pit above the stage, but that seems to be what they're saying, is that the room you're standing in is the orchestra pit for a theater that is actually on the first floor. The path will become clear, Boone. I'm sorry. And so he just pushes you, or she pushes you, and so you're to a different area now. She believed she was keeping you safe. Yes, very clever. Who's talking? A gold masked character far in the distance there. And he's just donged a clock, which that means I might reset at that clock now, and I'm just in a totally different area. So much for going back and doing anything for the time being. We'll almost certainly have to go back to those areas later on. But I think she has really rather overplayed her hand. I will find her, then be back for you. In the meantime, do enjoy the show. Again, this would make so much sense to just zoom in, even if you're not going to do anything else, just have the camera zoom in more. Now we're at the Theater Brutale. The Marquis invites you to tonight's show at 7 p.m. Now we kind of have more of a thought as to what the show is. Although noticeably. So we're already synchronized with that. And so the light finger locksmith is our next person who we're supposed to save, although there's somebody else, and it seems like both of them get killed very late before time runs out. These big padlock things are probably what the ability is that we're going to get it. Still can't light the candle. So we see this ghost, but we can't see him. Otherwise, where are we on the map? Okay. Let's zoom out. And we're now getting a general idea. Now, I guess it's just a question as far as how in the edge of this map are we really going to fill things out. It looks like there is enough room potentially to have a second floor and a basement, but I wouldn't really go any further than that. And that's so incredibly zoomed out that It may not even be that much. And we are here, and we see that there's a ghost here. We can see that there's a decent amount of rooms. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a game quite play like this. So it is kind of groundbreaking in its strategy or concept, just how much the room idea is. It is very Clue-like without just trying to be a one-to-one ripoff of the game Clue. But the puzzles so far have been fairly simple, and it has just been more hide and seek based on rooms to find the actual items than it has been finding a screwdriver to go use it on a screw to then defuse a bomb, to find an instruction manual to tell you to cut the right red wire. Like, we haven't gotten that complicated. It's been very simple as find the record, put it on the other record player, ring the bell, steal the key off the top of the piano, and then lock the door. And saying that out loud, that is actually fairly complicated, and I imagine it's just going to get more complicated. But overall, we do know that there will be a limited factor of 6 items, and the fact that we haven't gotten a second key item probably indicates that we aren't as far as it may seem we are. We're almost certainly going to get 3 key items. I guess it would be easy enough to have only 2 squares. And so we've got to save Grayson and Red Rockridge. All of these names are really ridiculous. But yeah. And we could have used the tequila shattering ability in the area we were in before. So it's fairly obvious that we are going to gain abilities and then end up back in the same areas a second time, or even possibly a third time. And those extra abilities are either going to give us an alternate way to succeed in saving everybody in a full run, in which we potentially are going to have to save everybody really quickly, or they're going to unlock something else on a different day, which is also a possibility, because we are just doing Saturday over and over again, or at least that seems like that's what's going on. I kind of wish there was a better system here as far as characters. Like, why have we not gotten any more information around guests? I guess you have to unlock the invitations, and the fact that I haven't found any probably means that they are fairly hard to find. There's a lot of rooms that seem to also have information that we need to find playing cards around to unlock things. Then I assume the bad guys will be under the secrets category. Let's see. Well, let's look at the language options here. So, German, maybe? Or Spanish? Yeah, that would be German. Japanese, Chinese. So there are different languages from that. So while I wouldn't be leaning towards the thought that these characters or this game was a Japanese game, because the animation style just feels a little too weird, and it's developed in part or published by Tequila Works, and that doesn't sound like a Japanese company. It might be that it is more of a Central European language company, though, and that might explain the songs not quite translating. If it was in French or German or some other European language first, and then got translated to English after that. The number of cards we found is significantly lower, so it does feel like you're going to be required to do more and more work to find cards, and maybe you just need more and more abilities. So I could see there being a point when we are very near the end of the game where there would just be this point to take a break and just wander around the world and look for cards. And that definitely should be the secondary gameplay mechanic as it is. So after you saved the life of the person you're supposed to save in the game, but before you pick up the mask, the game should say there are 5 cards in this area you should go look for, but if you don't want to, just pick up the mask to move the story forward. And then you would have that falling action right after you've saved somebody's life, and have a secondary gameplay mechanic of just, let's go do some hide and seek and look around the cards. And you would probably say you can collect 7 of the 8 cards in this area now, but one is for later if you wanted to play it that way, because it does seem like they are certainly playing it that way. But yeah, overall this definitely feels more like a video game. The narrative is a little lighter, much less conversation and narrative compared to Zero Time Dilemma, but a lot of that narrative in Zero Time Dilemma was just kind of pointless narration and just a lot of talk. But yeah, I would like to know these characters a little bit better and figure out what their relationship is, because it does kind of come off like this is a group of rich people who all know each other and have grown up together, and they all seem to know you, but you're not even getting an interesting backstory on who you are as a character, which that would be a great misdirect, frankly, is if throughout the game you were getting revelations as to the backstory of your main character, for that to really not play a role in what is actually happening. So at the end of the game you'd know who you are, but it wouldn't reveal anything. You wouldn't be the bad guy or the good guy for a specific reason. It's just, okay, you're a guy, you're a character who's been fleshed out, but there's still a lot more to learn as far as the actual story. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good